Welcome! My name is Michelle. I am your emotional resilience coach and it is fantastic to have you join me today. Please don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to let people know, share my messages on to those who you feel this might resonate with. What I like to do is I like to help you just take your power back, to no longer be a victim in your own story. I came from an abusive background where there was a lot of dysfunction, there was a lot of drama, a lot of trauma, and I had to unlearn a lot of patterns of being that weren't serving me. A lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs that weren't in my best interest. And I have changed my life completely. And in doing so, I really have become so passionate in helping you do the same. So if this is something that really appeals to you, please do hit like, subscribe, and of course, share. So today what I'm going to chat to you about is our intuition. Hitting that part in ourselves. A lot of people like to refer to it as the wise mind. That part where we just know, where we get that clarity. So to kind of give you a little bit of background, we have our rational mind, the rational thinking. That is very logical, very to the point, very factual, only looking at the case for what we know it to be, only looking at the facts, not putting any emotion to it. And then the other side, of course, is the emotional mind, where we're just spurred on. We're all emotion. Everything that we do that motivates us, that pushes us, we work from this place of reaction, right? We are coming from a place of fear often, a place of pain, a place of trauma. We have these knee-jerk reactions to life and situations and scenarios where it doesn't always fit the situation we're facing because we're actually really going back to a pain in our past. But we live from this place because it's a habit, it's a pattern that we have learned that we are in. The sweet spot that we want to get to is we want to get to where the two overlap. The reason why we don't want to stay in pure logic and pure rational is because we're not robots, all right? And if we stay there all the time, all situations and all places, we could get into a dangerous ground where we lack empathy, we lack compassion, we lack that gentleness, that softness about us, that humanness about us, and that's not always possible either. I think sometimes often people who are in that place, they feel that they are very logical, very rational, and they're making great decisions just from that place. And I'm sure that often they are, but sometimes we can just approach it in a gentler, kinder, more compassionate way if we allow ourselves to meet with our feelings too. So we'll recognize that we are in this wise mind. We'll recognize that we are hit our intuition, that we're in that sweet spot when we have those aha moments, when we feel clarity, when we feel that something is kind of just, the mist is gone, the fog is gone, we can see things clearly, we just know, we understand. Sometimes often people feel it in their solar plexus in the center, maybe in the center by your heart, maybe in the center of your mind. Somewhere you just feel aligned, you feel balanced, and you feel this is what I need to do, this is the decision I need to make, this is how I go forward. This is what the next right step for me looks like. And it can be so difficult to get there, especially if you've come from a place of trauma, if you come from a place of codependency and performing and always wanting to fix and always wanting to make right and take on more responsibility that is your own, especially when you come from a lot of dysfunction. It's so hard for us to know, how do we trust? How do we trust what we know? How do we trust what we understand? How do we trust going forward ourselves that we're going to make the right decision? And I have just a few tools that I'm going to share with you very briefly that I have discussed in more detail in the past, but these are ways and means and areas in which it really helps you to be open to the experience, to allowing you, your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, to tell you when you're in that sweet spot. Our body always knows, our bodies tell us. And I like to write, all right? I have found for me that writing gets out a lot of the confusing, foggy thoughts, a lot of the emotion, a lot of confusion. When I write, I'm able to sift through all of that. I'm able to push through all of that. I'm able to see what I'm thinking. I'm able to take a step back and look at it a little more objectively because I'm getting a lot of that pent-up emotion out. Another way that is very helpful is obviously meditation, is mindfulness, is learn to sit still, learn to be in the present, learn to bring ourselves back into the moment. Breathing exercises, and there are some fabulous resources out there on different ways of doing breathing exercises that help us to slow down the racing mind. The mind likes to race all the time. Just to slow it down and bring you back into the moment and to look at things more objectively, but again, obviously from a place of love and compassion. Compassion for ourselves and compassion for other people. If there is somebody that you trust in your life, maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have a sibling, a parent, a best friend, somebody that you can use as a sounding board, that you can talk through it with. Maybe you have a therapist or a coach, but sometimes even talking through it and hearing our words come back to us and sorting our thoughts in our minds that way helps us get more clarity, helps us see and feel the situation for what it really is. Often when I like to do is put myself in a position of helping somebody else, right? So if somebody comes to me with this situation, if somebody comes to me with this information and they say to me, this is what I'm going through, this is what is happening, and I am the sounding board, what advice would I give them? All right? Tap into that part of yourself. Somebody you love, somebody who's very dear to you, they've come to you and they've said to you, this is the situation I'm dealing with, this is what I'm going through, what can I do? When we stand away from it, when we take that step out and we look at it more objectively, we're able to see a clearer picture and we're able to give ourselves better advice, something that we can do and follow through. How do we know, for those of us who struggle and we think, oh, I don't know if I can trust myself? You feel peace, you feel balance, you feel a sense of calm, and you have this knowledge that you are doing the right thing, that for the information you have, the situation you have, the place that you are in, you are making the next right step. That doesn't mean that that next right step can't change. That doesn't mean that the dynamic won't change. That doesn't mean that more information won't come in and you might need to shift that a little bit according to the knowledge that does come along, all right? Life is not stagnant. It's ever growing, it's ever changing, and we do it with life. So it doesn't mean it's hard and fast. It just means that right now, for now, this is the perfect choice, the perfect step for me in my life as I go forward. And this looks like just calm, peace, surety, knowledge, all is well. It just feels like the knowledge you're moving forward with, all is well. If you have any ways in which you know, in which your intuition really just speaks so strongly to you, often sometimes it could be maybe a song you hear, or someone says something, or somebody out of the blue comes to you with something, and you have this aha moment, this clarity, this feeling of the muddy waters are settling, and you're able to see the situation better. Tell me what it is, what works for you. How do you know that you are in your wise mind, that you are in your intuition? These are thoughts and these are tools and these are ways that work for me, but I'm always excited to hear from you and learn new ways, new viewpoints, new skills that perhaps are things that really are great for you. Please don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, the notifications button, and as always, I love to hear from you. Have a most fantastic day.